So my name is Summer. I'm on the field marketing team at Zoho, which means that I'm part of the team that goes around and holds events all over North America. We're planning some in Australia right now. And we've done a lot to really make events part of our integrated marketing funnel. And so that's what I'm here to talk to you about today, is how you can make events part of your integrated and effective marketing channel, and how you can build it in with the rest of your marketing to make sure that it's integrated and working well with your business and everyone has the right information. So here's an agenda, quick overview of what we're going to go over today. I'm not going to spend too long reviewing this because I'll go over it piece by piece. But we're going to start off talking about why events, then we're going to talk about how you do them, and then we're going to talk about how you can make sure that they're part of your integrated funnel. So first thing here, why hold an event? But I have a ton of cool stats here that if you need proof to your boss about why you should hold events, you can take a look at this slide. So this has a whole bunch of interesting information. And when it comes to holding events, we think, why? Why do we need to hold events? Why is this important? Then the thing is, events convert. Like, they do their job. They're good at converting customers. And by these stats, 48% of event attendees say face-to-face interactions are more valuable today than they were 2 years ago. So not only do events convert, but as time goes on, they are converting better and better. And to build on that, 98% of users feel more inclined to purchase after attending an event. So if you can sell better to 98% of your audience, maybe that's something you should consider doing. So this runs through a few more stats here, including like marketers think that events are important, business leaders, like 52% of business leaders say that event marketing drives more ROI than any other aspect of marketing. So it can be really huge in terms of driving your sales for your company. But why don't we hold them? They're expensive, right? They're hard to do, and they're hard to do well. But when you think about that expense, 63% of businesses that are overperforming in regards to their goals will increase their live event budgets next year. So yes, they're spending money, but they want to spend more because they see that return on their investment. But on top of that, I mean, $1,200 is pretty much the minimum average cost per attendee in North America. They are expensive to put on. It's expensive to get those leads in there. So you want to make sure that it's going to actually be worth it for your business. So hold events, absolutely, because they do a good job. But do them well, and make sure that you follow up from your events and that they're built into your marketing funnel so that you can easily streamline that process, and they're valuable for your company every step through the process. So for that, we're going to talk about how you can empower your events with an integrated marketing funnel. So not only holding your events, but making sure that you're setting them up beforehand, that you're following up afterwards, that your sales team, or you, if you're working in sales, can follow up with those leads immediately after the event. But why do we need those tools integrated, right? A couple cool stats here. 80% of people don't follow up with trade show leads. If you pay for trade shows, you know they're typically about $10,000 minimum, depending on the size of the trade show. So if you're spending $10,000 to go to a trade show and you're not following up with 80% of your leads, you're losing a lot of sales. But at the same time, almost 80% of marketers generate sales using those events. So if you're leveraging so much of your sales on events, but still not following up about those events, that's a huge amount that you're missing there. That's a lot of the leads that you could have followed up with better. You could have built better into your marketing funnel. So for this, we're going to take a look at an example business. So Out of Line Design is a modern design agency that offers a variety of design services, and we're going to talk about how they've managed to build events into their marketing funnel. So first we'll talk about planning and marketing that event, what that's like. We'll talk about then you go from running the event, what we can do to help run the event. You all should be pretty familiar with this, hopefully using the Zoholics app. Follow up after the event, and that really breaks into two categories for us. Following up, we want to make sure those leads go to our sales, right, so they can easily follow up with them on their own, but we also want to make sure our events are part of a larger marketing funnel. So maybe those people who aren't ready to purchase immediately after your event, you can send them to another activation, like a webinar. So we're going to talk about how you can further that funnel with a webinar. So there are a whole bunch of different marketing channels, right? I think we've gone over this in this talk a couple times today. We have a whole bunch of different areas where you can promote your business, and this can be really overwhelming when it comes to running your business, especially if you're a small business trying to manage all of these different channels. So what we like to do here is break that down a little bit into what Zoho apps can help you with each of these channels. So you see here on our website side, obviously we have Zoho Sites. We can help you get your domain, get your website live. We have Page Sense that will help you monitor analytics for your website. Sales IQ that will help you track your visitors, maybe engage them on your website with some live chat. And social, as Praval just went over, we have Zoho Social to help you manage your social media. Email, we have Zoho Campaigns to help you manage your mass emails. Webinars, we have a webinars tool that's actually built out of Zoho Meeting to help you hold webinars. And then it comes to events. And for that, we have Zoho Backstage. Now, Zoho Backstage is an end-to-end event management platform. And Zoholics today, and just about every other Zoho event, are run on Zoho Backstage. So when you checked in, we checked you in via Backstage. When you registered, our landing page was through Backstage. If you're joining a session, maybe asking questions, that's all through Zoho Backstage. And what it really does is it helps you manage every stage of the event. So before the event, during the event, and after, how you can follow up. So before the event, here are a few things that it can help you do, and I'm gonna go in and show you these in a lot more depth. A lot of these slides I have here so that you can refer to them later as an easy reminder. But it'll help you create your event, build the agenda, prepare tickets, design your website, and then even stepping into marketing your event. So from within Backstage, you can send marketing emails. You can push out social media posts that will help market your event. Different tools that will help you there. So let's take a look at Zoho Backstage. So let's go ahead and dive into Backstage here. And first we're gonna take a look. We have an event here that I'm gonna show you a little bit later, but I wanna show you how easy it is to create an event first. So all I do is click Create Event here, and there's some information I need to enter. So you can see I'm gonna enter my name. This is gonna be a customer appreciation event. So I'm gonna say Customer Appreciation Design Day. And I'm gonna hold this next week, maybe. I don't need a ton of prep time. It's gonna run from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So we're gonna click Create here. Oh, it's a 2-day event. We're gonna run that until the next day, until not 5 a.m., but 5 p.m. There we go. And we'll go ahead and create this event. Now you can see we can modify our date and time here. We have a cool location section. So this is one of the biggest things, and when creating Backstage, Zoho really pulled from our personal experience in what do we put on our event landing pages? What do we see that people need to see when they're registering for an event? They need the title, they need the date and time, and they need to know where to go, right? So we're gonna hold this here because I've been really impressed with the Palmer Events Center, and that will start pulling some information for us about Palmer. Now this summary here is what feeds into Google. So this won't be on your landing page, but this will be the data that Google pulls from when people are searching for your event. So this is where you want to include buzzwords. This is where you want to include design, or maybe customer appreciation. And then down here in the description, this is where we'll write a little bit more. So join our event to meet our designers face-to-face and amp up your website design. You can obviously make this a lot longer. It's category, we're a design firm, so it's gonna be art and photos here. And then we can also add social media handles here. And once we add those will be on our landing page where people can click to easily engage, follow, and post about the event on social media. Now you can see it also pulled some information about Palmer here. So it gives a nice map so people actually know where to go, which is helpful. And then it also pulls some pictures from Google so we can choose a good picture that we want to feature on our website. So we filled out our details here. Let's go ahead and check out our agenda. Now building an agenda for an event can be a little bit tricky, especially if you're working with a team of people, right? Maybe you need to meet with all of them and decide, okay, what are we gonna cover? Who's gonna cover what? How are we gonna do this? How's the day gonna be laid out? And you can still do all of that, but you can also do it online without meeting. I love meetings sometimes, and I hate meetings a lot of the time. I don't know if you all feel the same way, but meetings can be really helpful. They can also take up a lot of your time. So when it comes to managing an event, I'm all about how much can we get done effectively collaborating, effectively communicating without taking up a ton of my time. So this is a good example of that. We come in here to double click and we can add our sessions. See here, first we have a keynote. We're just gonna call that keynote design. It's gonna be on day 1. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so you can see this. We'll start at 10 a.m. Maybe it's gonna run for an hour, maybe 55 minutes. And we can set up different halls here. So if, say, you have an event like this where you have multiple different halls and tracks, you can easily set those up so that people know where to go. You can also assign speakers here. So say David is gonna be our speaker here. And this is something that you can also collaborate on. You can have multiple people as part of your Backstage event, and they can go in. They can update speaker profiles, they can reassign things, they can move things around as needed, and you can collaborate effectively without ever having to be stuck in that hour, 45-minute, whatever long it is meeting. So we can assign those speakers there and set what track we want, and then set a description here. And we have our keynote there. Maybe we want to add one more session for now. This will be our welcome note. Surprisingly different than a keynote. We're also going to be talking about design in our welcome note. Big surprise. That will start at 10:20. We're not going to assign our speaker yet because we don't know who that's going to be, but we're going to go ahead and include that on our agenda. So then we go to our speakers portal. So automatically when you add a speaker, they will get an email. That email will say, hey, you've been added as a speaker on this event. Click here to join the event. Once they join the event, they can update their headshot, their bio, their session description, their session title. They can associate their presentation or upload it so that you can easily launch that presentation from within Backstage. So really what this is doing is this is eliminating another meeting where you have to go talk about that agenda. You have to talk about the description for each event. This gives your speakers all the power to control their presentation. You're empowering your workforce so that you have way less admin work to do in terms of managing events. Then we have our tickets section here. Now we can do tickets in Backstage in a couple different ways. So if you're already using something like Eventbrite, you can connect with Eventbrite here. And this will sync with your Eventbrite account. It will pull up any events you've already created there or allow you to create one, and then it will link there for ticketing. So you'll have a landing page on Backstage, and you'll click through, and that will lead to Eventbrite for your ticketing. But we also recently released our own default ticketing. So here you can see you can actually do ticketing natively from within Backstage. Now if you have, maybe you're doing paid tickets, it's like an expensive event, maybe you're investing a lot, you can configure different payment gateways here. So we work with all of the big payment gateways here, and we are always adding more. You can also change, this is kind of a unique thing, you can change the payment gateway by country. So if you need to have, say, a different payment gateway in Europe for European customers than for US customers, you can do those different payment gateways from within the same event. But in this case, since it's a customer appreciation event, we're going to do a free ticket. So we're going to go ahead and click Add Ticket here. This will be general admission. And we want these unlimited. We want all of our customers to come to this event. So we're going to go ahead and click Save. Now you see this generates that ticket option for us. We can also add different tiers of tickets. So maybe we want to have like a VIP meet and greet ticket. We could price that differently. We could add a different number of those that are available. Just gives us more options here in terms of letting our attendees customize their experience. Then we have the sponsors page here. So if you're holding a really big event, maybe you have something like the expo hall we have downstairs, and you want to have sponsors for your event, you can also add those sponsors here. But maybe you don't have sponsors yet, but you want to give people the option to become a sponsor. You can configure sponsor categories. This will allow you to set up different levels, different tiers of sponsorship that people can do to sponsor your event. You can price these however you want, include whatever you want for these. And then lastly, and one of the coolest things about Backstage is the design. So this is actually a piece of Zoho Sites built within Backstage. This design section is a small piece of Zoho Sites, but it simplifies a little bit more. So that's just really easy. This has the main things you need built into an event website. So you can see the first thing here when we load it up, we can select from a whole bunch of different themes. So these are pre-made for us. I think this one looks like, maybe this one looks like a good design. I could even change the colors of this if I'd like to. And then I can come in and customize this even further. So maybe I don't want to include a why attend section. I think our customers probably know why they want to come to our event. So I'm going to go ahead and click this little eyeball here just to hide that section. And then that automatically won't be shown on the website. You can also easily move stuff up and down. So if you want to say feature your speakers, click that up arrow and it just moves further up on your landing page. Now you can still go in and customize all of this text, customize all of these icons, add featured speakers. There's really a lot that you can dive into within this design, but we also try to make it as easy to use right out of the box, so you really don't have to change much at all. But if you want to dive really deep, you could add a whole bunch of other pages for your website. So we have these all linked down to our different sections of the page, right? But maybe we want to include something else. We can click on this little gear here, and we have this Manage Pages menu. Now this gives us a whole bunch of other pre-made pages that we can look at. So like discussions, for instance. Maybe we want to have a chat at our event. So we'll go ahead and click Save, and then we have this Discussions tab added. We go here, and it will show a place where we can add chat rooms so that people can easily discuss during our events. If we want to add a custom page here, we can easily go over here and click Add Page. Then we can add that page here, and it can be whatever we want it to be. We can build in whatever we need to be on that page. And then we just click Publish, and automatically this design will go live. Hopefully you have everything here that you needed. You could also go back and edit this at any time that you want. But now that we've taken more of a look at how you create an event, I want to go show you what it looks like to have an existing event. So we're going to go ahead and go back here to our live events. Now we have our design conference here. We've been promoting our design conference for a while. Unfortunately, we still don't have that many registrations, but this gives us a cool overview. So this is our dashboard for our design conference. So here we have a couple things to help us keep track of things. We have a progress tracker. We have a link to our microsite here. We can also promote our event from right here. So if we go into this promote section here, this will allow us to post to our social media networks from within Backstage. This just means that you don't have to spend your time going to a whole other different app to do this and then making sure that you're linking the right page, all that good stuff. Gives you that option. And you can also embed a link to this. So if you have, say, an affiliate company that wants to promote your event, you can just pass along this embed code, and you can embed your registration on their website as well. You can also set up different emails to go out. So there are some emails that are automated. For instance, when someone purchases a ticket, you want them to receive a ticket confirmation. Maybe you want them to receive a reminder 1 week before the event. But you can also set up scheduled emails on your own. And I'll talk a little bit more about this later, but this gives you cool options in terms of customizing an email. But now that we've taken a look at Backstage, we've talked about before the event, right? We created, we built the agenda, prepared some tickets, maybe we've done some promotions. So let's take a look at during the event. But in order to do that, we need to have someone actually registered, right? So I'm going to switch gears here and show you what it's like from the attendee perspective, because I think that's always important when you're planning an event or any kind of marketing platform is you experience it from your own perspective. You want to make sure you try it out from the attendee perspective. So I'm going to click here and go ahead and buy a ticket. Maybe I want to buy 2 tickets. I'm going to go ahead and click continue here. My first name is Yolanda, and maybe my last name, I just want to give them an initial. I'm going to say my email is yolanda@example.com. And I am buying the first ticket, so I'm going to use my buyer information there. But for the second ticket, I want to assign it to my colleague. So this is going to go to Bob. Now we're going to change this email, bob.h@example.com. This way, both people will receive that confirmation. So we click continue here. Your ticket purchase was successful. You should receive an email with your tickets. We look forward to seeing you there. So then we want to make sure that that syncs, right? If you do events, managing registrations is a whole other piece of events, right? If you're doing registrations through Eventbrite, you're probably logging in to check those registrations on Eventbrite. Maybe you're having someone export those registrations and add them to another spreadsheet where you're then checking in or making sure that your marketing team knows what's going on, or maybe you're exporting them and adding them to your CRM so your sales team knows what's going on. But in this case, we can check them directly from Backstage. So right here we see we have Yolanda here, we have Bob here. Both of their tickets are done. And then we have this bar here. It says your registrations are synced to your Zoho CRM organization. Cool, awesome. So maybe we want to change this slightly. We can click into Manage CRM settings here, and we can configure a whole bunch of stuff. How many of our events do we want to push to our CRM? Do we want it to push to our leads module or our contacts module? For instance, our customers event will be for contacts, but our prospect event will be for leads, right? So this allows you to get a little bit deeper in terms of customizations there. But then what we can do is jump into Zoho CRM and make sure that those registrations are all there, right? They should have pushed to CRM. So we're gonna go ahead and look at our leads. This will sync back. So here we have, I've spilled my tea long enough, you all fell for the spill, and Bob and Yolanda are here in our CRM where we can easily follow up with them. So here we can see we have Bob, we have Yolanda. We can take a look at their lead record here. You can see it has the emails that we've entered for those people. If we scroll down to campaigns here, it has our design conference listed. So not only do we have it in Backstage, but because we have our Backstage and CRM integration set up, we are able to see all of that information here. So we can view our finance flow, how much we've spent on this event, what our budget is, how much we're making in revenue, We can keep an eye on our tickets, on our check-in. It has all of our information about our venue. And then if we scroll down, it has all of our leads here. So this means that post-event follow-up stage where it's all about pushing your leads to sales, that's non-existent with Backstage, especially when you have it integrated with CRM. Those leads are automatically in your CRM without you having to do any export, re-import, any sync, anything like that. They're just automatically there for you to follow up with. But maybe while we're here, we want to do some proactive marketing for our event. So we're going to go over to our leads module here, and we're going to send out an email. Now in this case, I've made a specific view for people that I want to attend this event called Design Prospects. Now if I edit this, you'll see it's just a couple simple criteria. So I only want to send it to my personal leads, so only if the lead owner is me, David, if they're not already attending our event. I don't want to remarket to people that are already registered, so people where the campaign name isn't Design Conference 2019. And this will automatically pull from all of the campaigns that you have synced there. So now that we have this view, we're going to go ahead and send a quick email. We'll just check everyone here and click Send Email. Now we've already built a template for this. This is fairly easy to do inside CRM if you haven't already. It takes a couple minutes to learn. We're going to send this immediately, but we could also schedule it for later. We're going to go ahead and click Send. Just like that, it's been sent, and I can view a summary of that email here. I can even click in and view the template that we sent. This is the promotion we sent for our design conference. So we've sent people to our event. We have them there, right? People are registered. They're in our CRM for our sales team to follow up with, and now we're running the event. So now we switch over to a different mode in Backstage. So we have our event here on our dashboard, and we're going to switch into Conduct mode. Now this immediately takes me to a check-in page. So as long as the date of your event is now, you can check in people for your event. So they show up just like you all did yesterday, probably met someone with a mobile phone or a computer. They ask for your name or email, they entered it in, and they click check in. They can also reassign your ticket to someone else. You can also set this up to automatically print a badge like we did for all of you, where we can design those badges from within Backstage and have those automatically print. So once people have checked in, there are a couple cool other things that you can do during the event. So you can manage presentations, for instance. I mentioned all speakers can upload their presentations to Backstage. This is a good example of that. You can see where those presentations have been uploaded, and then as soon as we want to start, we just click Present. That's everyone that's presenting here. That's how we've been running things, from within Backstage without ever opening Zoho Docs, Zoho Show, PowerPoint, whatever presentation tool you want to use. You can also set a personalized agenda here. So hopefully you all have been doing this. I think this is really helpful when I go to an event, getting to select which sessions I'm interested in and making an agenda that only I can use. You can also engage live with your audience. So your audience can like your slides, they can ask questions via Backstage, you can run polls, you can do Q&As, different ways to engage with your audience that isn't just a live interaction. And then you can also have a discussion channel. So if you want to say have a chat channel where people can easily talk about things during the event, it's easy to set up a discussion channel from within Backstage as well. So how about after your event? We've planned your event, we've marketed it, we've ran the event, hopefully it was successful, and now we want to follow up, right? So there are a couple things that are helpful here. So we have an event summary. This is just a cool summary. It tells you how many people checked in, how many tickets you had, what your progress is like, how many event members you have. You also have some cool attendee insights. So you'll be able to see how your attendees rated your session, how much time they were paying attention to your session, all kinds of stats on different things that your attendees have engaged with. And there are several upcoming integrations with Backstage as well. So for instance, the CRM integration I showed you all today, I just heard from the team that it'll be released in like 2 weeks. Don't hold me to that, but 2 weeks is what it sounds like, if not very soon. So you'll be easily able to integrate those attendees with your CRM. A couple other things coming up in terms of integrating with Backstage, integrating with PageSense, which will allow you to look at analytics on your landing page to really understand what people are looking at. And it can also be custom branded. So you can have your custom domain here, you can have a custom mobile app, you can have a brand page, whatever you need. It doesn't have to look like Zoho Backstage, it will look like your business. So now you've held an event, now what? What are you gonna do to further that marketing funnel? We're post-event, we've already passed leads to sales without doing anything, so that's taken care of. But how are we gonna further that funnel with a webinar? So for that, we're actually not gonna jump into Zoho Meeting, and that's kind of the power of this, is we're not gonna look at Zoho Meeting at all, but we're gonna hold a webinar through Zoho Meeting. So we're gonna go here and we're gonna go back to those emails. So we're managing our event, and we want an email to go out directly after our event. So we're gonna go ahead and add a new schedule here. This is gonna go out after the event to all attendees, and we're gonna say, thanks for joining us. What's next? And we're gonna say, what's next for your business, right? Now that you've joined our design day, how are you going to keep working on your design to make things better? In this case, we want them to join our webinar. We're gonna make that nice and bold. Hopefully they read it. We can come over here and we want this to go to our microsite signup page, which I'm gonna show you in just a moment. And then we can easily save that template and that will automatically send out. Now that microsite, what is that? So we have our design here, our landing page, and we have this webinar page here. Now this is when I mentioned custom pages that you can build within Backstage. This is one of those custom pages. So here I have a webinar page. I want to promote this from the same microsite because it's related to the event. It's part of my events funnel. So here I have a page where I've customized some text about that, and then I've embedded a little bit of a form. Now this form is powered by Zoho Meeting. So here we can go here and register for the event. So let's say Yolanda also wants to go to our webinar. So we're going to register Yolanda at example.com under her email, not her name. Her name is Yolanda. And then we're going to go ahead and register. So we're registered for that event, but how do we know that in the back end? We could go into Zoho Meeting and we could check our registrations there, but we're not going to. We're going to go to our leads module here, and we are going to look at Yolanda's record. So we pull up Yolanda here. Now you remember this campaign section where we had our Backstage event? We also have our webinar right here because it's another event activation. This is another campaign that we're doing. So just like the conference, we can click in here and we can view a whole bunch of details. We can view where they registered. We can look at that webinar. We can look at a description here. And then we can see any recordings associated and everyone that's registered for that webinar. But in this case, we just want to go ahead and launch it. So we launch our webinar directly from within CRM. We can choose we want our computer audio. We're going to allow that. Oh boy, allowing a lot of things. You can see me twice now, maybe 3 times. And you can do all kinds of cool things here. You can run a Q&A. You can run different polls. You can also record your webinar. Maybe you want to do it at a later date and not actually do it. You can run a recording instead of actually running that webinar. But in this case, we're going to go ahead and end our webinar here. And that's really where our events funnel pauses, at least at this stage. We want people to join our webinar, and from there, maybe we're going to build another webinar. Maybe we're going to build another event that's going to be more convincing, or maybe we're just going to schedule some emails to have our sales follow up with them. But either way, we are running a complete events funnel through basically 3 apps with only ever stepping into 2 of them, Backstage running a whole lot of this. And that's really the power of this is, we're able to promote an event, plan it, drive people to it, run the event, like check things in, run presentations, and then follow up, make sure our leads are being followed up with by sales, and that we're furthering those people within a webinar. Check out Zoho Academy. We have a whole bunch of educational content about events. Zoho Academy does educational content across all different areas of your business. They have an e-commerce, one that was recently released, and they have a whole bunch on marketing and some specifically on event marketing. So I'd highly recommend checking out Zoho Academy as well. And with that, that is all the time we have.